What is up, boys? Let's get this Q&A knocked out. What do you say? I'm gonna try to be quick with this because I've tried to film it once and it turned out like 20 minutes long, and I kind of don't think you guys want to sit there for 20 minutes and listen to me answering whatever question. So I'm gonna try to go through these. Austin asked, any plans after the OBS? Yes, several. We have Chris's OBS dually that we're going to LS swap and lower slam. We have James's OBS long bed we got to finish up. I've got my 78 Volkswagen Rabbit I'm going to make into a race car. That'll probably get started this winter maybe. That's going to be a really expensive project, and I'm going to have to take my time on that one. And then I plan to be a full-time content creator in the future, so I'm going to make that happen. However I got to do it, however long it takes, that's going to happen for me. And I'm going to just keep doing all kinds of projects, cars, trucks, toys, four-wheelers, bikes, whatever I can get into, I'm going to get into it. We're going to try it all out, boys. Marco asked, how did I learn how to do the harness? Go to lt1swap.com. The dude that runs that site is an awesome guy. You put in what year truck you got your motor out of, and he knows all the pinouts and has all this kind of stuff on his website. You can print it out. It's all color coded, and like the blue plug for the PCM, the red plug, color codes what you need, what you don't need. He has a color for all the HVAC stuff. He has a color for all the emissions stuff. So you can go through and depin your harness pretty good with him. Eric asked what got me into trucks and how did I learn to wire stuff up. Honestly, I'm 26 and I haven't really cared about trucks until about the past 5 to 10 years. I really was an import muscle car guy up until about right after high school. So there's that. And then how did I learn to wire up stuff? YouTube and Google. I never had money to take stuff to a shop. So the only other way for the poor kid to get stuff done is to learn how to do it himself. And fortunately, I'm a millennial, and Google and YouTube were in their prime when I was in high school, and which I make that sound like it was a long time ago. I graduated in 2013, so I got lucky and had YouTube and Google at my fingertips, and I could literally just sit there and Google a question that I was going to say to somebody. I just say that question to Google, and Google tells me what I need to know. So that's how I learned how to do all that stuff. It's taken some years, but really I started in car audio. That's what really got my feet wet. And then I realized, well, if you're doing a harness for a aftermarket radio, this is the same thing. It's colors and matching them up and figuring out the pinout of what wire is what. There's just a lot more wires. So Teddy Bear asked what I do for a living. I work as a truck driver for FedEx Freight. I'm an LTL driver, however you want to say it. I have a Class A CDL with hazmat, tanker, doubles and triples. I ran over the road for FedEx for a little bit. When I say over the road, I live in OKC. I would just go to Wichita in a night run or go to Dallas or something like that. I did that for a little bit, not very long. But now I run a dedicated route in the city. And basically I just deliver pallets to warehouses in a semi. So that's basically what I do. Project Truckiondo Ka asked if I was always into trucks. No. Really, my heart's in cars, like muscle cars and imports. So really I just like them all. If it's got wheels and a motor, I'm into it usually. So Joshua asked the backstory on this truck and what made me want to do all this to it. I've been saying I wanted to do YouTube for years, and I finally got my thumb out of my butt this February and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I used my income tax money to buy this truck and to buy the first GoPros I had, and I used a bootlegged version of Sony Vegas to edit on my computer, and that's how I started. But basically, like, I just decided it was time. I wanted a project truck. I've wanted one for a long time, and it was time to pull the trigger and get one and film it and start the YouTube journey. And I'm so glad I did it because here we are now, and it hasn't even been a year yet. So definitely glad I pulled the trigger on that. There's not really a backstory on this truck. I bought it from my neighbor for $500. He didn't have title for it. Went through the state, got a Title 42 on it, so now it's legally registered in my name, and I hold the title for it. I knew I wanted to LS swap it. I knew I wanted to lower it. The interior just kind of happened. I don't really know what made me say, oh, we're for sure going to do this. Like, it was just kind of an idea, and then one day that good deal came up on the interior itself, and me and James were like, dude, we got to do it. So that's kind of that. Algus asked what made me decide on the high country interior. It could have been LTZ, black leather. I wouldn't have cared, but it had to be leather. I can't stand cloth seats, and like these leather seats I really like. I've rode in a lot of 14 to 18 trucks, and I love them. So, and the first one I got in and pressed the AC seats, that blew my mind. If you've never experienced that, you need to. It's amazing. But that's basically... it just so happened that the one that I found up for sale that was a good deal was a high country. It could have been LTZ or an Elevation or whatever the other ones are, and I still would have bought it. I actually would have preferred black, to be honest. I'm not really a brown guy, but I'm embracing it, and we're going to make it happen. Jeremy asked, lifted or slammed? Definitely by heart, I'm a slammed guy, but I do appreciate a lot of lifted trucks. There's some really cool lifted builds. Alex asked, do I bleach my asshole? And I'm going to keep it real with you guys. No, I do not. Christian Lewis asked, can I roll my dick up like a fruit roll up? No, I cannot do that. Joshua asked, what cars did I own before? In order, I owned a 94 Ford Ranger extended cab. In high school, that was my first truck I ever got. I beat the shit out of that truck. I got it for $800. Blew the clutch out in it. Had to replace that myself. I remember that weekend, it was around Christmas break, and I was out of school, and me and my dad were on a piece of plywood in his gravel driveway on jack stands in 27-degree weather, pulling the transmission and clutch out of that piece of shit. I remember that. Also, another story with that truck. One day I was driving home, and the gas pedal bracket broke off the firewall, and I had to pull. I was like 20 minutes away from home, and I had to reach down, and it was a stick, so I had to shift it. I had to reach down and pull the throttle cable with my hand, pull the whole pedal to give it gas. That sucked. And then after that, I think it was sophomore or junior year. No, it was junior year. I got a 94 Mazda B2300, which is like the Ford Ranger, but it's a Mazda. Drove the shit out of that truck. Cut the cat off of it and put a big... We found a fart can one day at like AutoZone or somewhere like that. And whoever I was with, I can't even remember now, but they were like, dude, I dare you put that on your truck. And sure as shit, I did. I went and had the cat cut off, and then we welded like a fart can, a literal fart can. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of that truck. And drove the shit out of that truck until graduation day. I was actually late to my graduation because I went to a dealership and bought an 06 quad cab Ram. I ended up doing a 4.6 drop on that truck. Had a pretty loud sound system in it. Had a 15 in there. And then after that, I got the 370Z. I had an 09 370Z. Drove the shit out of that car. Then I got a 04 single cab short bed Chevy. It was V6. I was going to do a lot to that truck. I was going to do an LS swap in it. I was going to slam it. And it had really bad shocks in it. And it was around like this time of year. It was almost Christmas. And my brother borrowed it, and I had really bad shocks. And I wasn't going to replace the shocks until Christmas because I was going to get the drop kit at Christmas. So it got slick one night, and he had a bump on the highway, and because I had shit shocks, it bounced the rear end, and like he lost control. Threw him into the cables in the middle, and then threw him off into the ditch and totaled the truck. It was shot, so lost out on that one, or I would have an LS Cat Eye already. And then I got the Subaru after that, the Subaru I have now. So I've had the Subaru for about 4 years. I got this thing in February. The Volkswagen Rabbit, I got it in, I think, 2018, maybe 17. I've had it for like 2 or 3 years now, and it's a basket case. The floors are rusted out in it. The brake lines are shot. So I'm gonna do a video on that later. So I'm not gonna talk too much about that. But yeah, that's all the vehicles I've had. Renee asked how to do a double din in an OBS. I want you to take that sentence and type it into Google and YouTube and see what you come up with. It's going to depend what year you have. If you have the more square blocky dash, it's going to be different. I think they put, there's the only ones I've seen with a double din, they put it down like where the ashtray is. I think there's like a kit that puts a double din down there. And then if you have the newer one, I can't remember what they do with the newer ones. I think they do the same thing. Not sure on that, man. You need to do your own research so you can decide if that's something you want to mess with or not, because I think it takes a little bit of work to make it happen. Usiel, I'm going to assume it's Usiel, it's U-S-I-E-L, asked how much to do the interior swap. I will, at this point right now, I'm going to say I will never do work for customers. I'm only going to do work for myself or like close friends or family. Just for like liability shit, and it takes the fun out of it. If I've always got to work on other people's stuff, then I can't work on my own stuff. So I'm going to tell you what I think it would be. Most of the, if you try to buy a dash, a console, and 2 front seats here in Oklahoma, Marketplace, most things on Marketplace are like $2 grand for that, pretty much, give or take. Some are a lot more, some are a little bit less, but so you're going to buy the stuff for $2 grand, and then if you're going to have a shop do it, they're going to charge you materials, so they're going to have to buy some metal to make brackets. They're going to have to buy some wiring to adapt. If you want the knobs, the AC knobs and stuff to work, that's going to take a lot of labor and wiring to make that work. And then the vents, that'll take a lot of work. I don't know, man. I think after labor and parts, you'd probably be over $5 grand doing this in a shop, and that's a rough estimate. I've never taken anything to a shop, so I don't know how shop pricing goes, but I know you pay for the parts and then you pay labor for them to do the work for you. So one thing I can say is I'm going to link members only Instagram and YouTube channel. He's got a square body that he's doing a 2019 Tahoe dash in. And then he's doing Brio Avant, Brian, he's doing his baby dually in NBS, has the same dash and seats that we have. And that's members only. His link to his Instagram and YouTube will be in the description. Hit him up on Instagram and see if you want a true quote on what something like that might be. He's in Houston, Texas, so if you want to go to Houston and get the work done, that's the only shop I would recommend, because I saw it in person and he knows what he's doing. Tyler asked what color. I have already said what color I was going to do this, and a lot of people have asked, and the video that I said what color this was going to be got about, I think it's at 300 views right now. Nobody watched that video. So what you're going to do, if you really want to know what color it is, I'm going to make you watch the video. Go to the video where I announced the Subaru, where I introduced the Subaru and talked about it. Go to that video and watch it. And you'll see me talk about what color I am going to paint this truck. And yes, I said paint. We're not doing the wrap anymore. It's going to be painted, and it's going to be a pretty cool color. So go check the introduction of the Subaru video out, and you'll see exactly what color it's going to be. Trust me, it'll be worth it. And on that note, a lot of the videos that, like the bike videos, don't get very many views. And then like when we go do stuff, like if I do anything other than work on this truck, those get way less views. I talk about things about this truck in those videos, so it helps if you guys watch all the videos, then you're up to speed. If you don't want to, that's up to you. But for you guys to ask a lot of questions, sometimes I don't get to them all. I try to, but sometimes, like the way the phone app works on YouTube Studio, I miss some questions or comments, I should say. So if you really want to be up to speed, you got to watch every video because I talk about everything in every video. So there's that. Alamazan187, this is going to be the last one. He asked, ass or titties? I'm definitely an ass man. So that's all the questions. Thank you guys so much for asking. I hope I thoroughly answered every question you guys had. We'll probably do this again later. I'll probably do another one after the truck is done for everybody to ask truck-related questions. If you can't find something in research or you want to know how to do something that you saw me do or some parts I used or something, I'll probably do another one after I get the truck done. I'm going to give you guys some channels to check out. I'm going to link them all below. McCrary Racing, Keenan's a really cool dude. He LS swapped to OBS. Good old boy. Doesn't have a shop. He did what he could, and he got it done. He wasn't very descriptive, like deep into detail, but he did cover every area that you need to go over. And then Bowtie Guy 601, that dude's really cool. He messes with OBSs and older square bodies, does LS swaps. He messes with like the older carbureted motors, and like he works under a carport in his driveway. Really cool, humble dude. He just got over like 10,000 subscribers. So that's awesome for him. Check him out. He goes over the essentials of what you need and how to get it done cheap. But still work. I got to say that. He does the cheap homeboy way of doing it, but his shit works. So the LS Swap Guru, that's a real cool channel. You Can Do It Too. That's a really good channel. You Can Do It Too, went deep into detail on how to deep-in a harness and how to work with the engine harness, so check that out. And then a lot of people have said Navy Dad. I watched a couple of his videos and didn't know that it was him. I didn't pay attention to the channel, but he actually does have some really cool LS swap stuff, so check them out. And then, as always, the link to my website is in the description of every single video. You guys asking where to get merch, go there, MattyXBuilds.com. I have hats in stock, I have tees in stock, and I have stickers in stock. So I just got done with my 5,000 sub giveaway, and I am doing a pretty good sale on all my stuff. I'm trying to clean out the inventory to free up some money so I can get some beanies and hoodies going for winter. So if you guys want to get a hat or a tee and you couldn't really spring to afford one before, they're going to be on sale. So by all means, go over to MattyXBuilds.com, check it out. Other than that, that's it, guys. Thank you all for asking questions. I hope I answered them all. And yeah, stay tuned for more. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment how I did. Other than that, peace out. See you later.